and heard from 117 submitters in person, 38 written submissions and heard from 117 submitters in person, and I thank all of those submitters for making themselves heard to the committee. And Madam Speaker, our committee listened carefully to those submitters, and we have recommended by majority a change to the repeal of Section 7AA. And I want to acknowledge the Minister who has also listened to those submitters and has indicated there will be a change to the repeal of Section 7AA to incorporate a component of it. Madam Speaker, fundamentally this bill was about making sure that Oranga Tamariki focus on its primary duties, which is the care and protection of young people, making sure they are safe from harm. I would hope everyone in this House and in this country agrees with that objective. Madam Speaker, fundamentally as a country, I don't think we should want any of our children to have to come into state care. Ultimately, we want our children to be safe in their family, with their families, safe in their communities. But unfortunately, that is not always the case, Madam Speaker, and the state does have to step in and help on occasion. And that is why we do have the Oranga Tamariki, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, this bill is to just make sure that Oranga Tamariki focuses on that core primary duty, the care and protection of young people. However, we did hear many submitters, Madam Speaker, who expressed concerns about one component in particular, and that was this repeal removing the obligation on the Chief Executive to have strategic partnerships with iwi. I note that the bill did not prevent Oranga Tamariki from retaining its current strategic partnerships or from entering into new ones. However, there was concern expressed from a number of submitters that they were concerned it wouldn't continue without an obligation. So the committee heard that, the Minister has clearly heard that, and we have recommended that there be a change to this bill to make sure this obligation remains in the Act, and that is going to happen, Madam Speaker. So submitters have been heard, and that change is going to happen. And I should note, Madam Speaker, that it was the committee as a majority, so the government members agreed to that change, to listen to the submitters, to listen to the request that the obligation remain, and to keep it in the bill. I note that the opposition members did not recommend that back and did not agree with that, Madam Speaker, and that I think needs to be put on the record in this House. And that, Madam Speaker, I think reflects to the unfortunate weaponisation of this bill to stir up fear in the Māori community across New Zealand about this government, to create, frankly, misinformation about the objectives of this government, Madam Speaker. This is a government that cares about Māori deeply. It cares about Māori children deeply. Wow. It cares about the future of children. And unfortunately, Madam Speaker, there has been a lot of misinformation about this. So there's no the fundamental core things about this are staying, Madam Speaker, and yet we're still hearing speeches telling New Zealand that this is taking away the rights and removing the fertility obligations, etc. Strategic partnerships, the main thing that was raised as concern, the obligation on the Chief Executive to manage strategic partnerships is going to remain, Madam Speaker. So I really ask, what is the opposition talking about? Madam Speaker, I should mention one other point. There's some concerns were raised about reporting obligations. I'll just run through the reporting obligations that there currently are. There is an annual report pursuant to the Public Finance Act 1989, which measures performance against standards agreed as part of annual appropriations. Secondly, there's a quarterly report. Thirdly, there's a safety and children in care annual report. Fourthly, there's a Minister of Children's report every 3 years to Parliament under Section 44(8)(b) of the Oranga Tamariki Act on whether existing legislation, government policy and other accountability documents are meeting the needs of children and young people, particularly Tamariki and Rangatahi Māori. In addition, Madam Speaker, there's an independent children's monitor which produces the following reports. 1, a State of Oranga Tamariki system report at least once every 3 years. 2, an annual report on compliance with national care standards regulations. 3, an annual report on outcomes for Māori children and young people and their whānau. And Madam Speaker, it's not just that. If we look at Section 4, there's no changes to Section 4 of the Oranga Tamariki Act. No changes, Madam Speaker. And I note that this is recognised as mana tamaiti, tamariki, whakapapa, and the practice of whanaungatanga for children and young persons who come to the attention of the Department. Maintaining and strengthening the relationship between children and young persons who come to the attention of the Department and their family, whānau, hapu, iwi, and family group, and siblings. That's still there, Madam Speaker. That is never going to change. That is not changing. So again, I ask the opposition members, what on earth are they telling the people of New Zealand? What on earth are they telling Māori communities across New Zealand? They need to be responsible, Madam Speaker, and be honest about what is happening. This is simply about ensuring that Oranga Tamariki focuses on its primary duties to ensure the safety of children and its care, Madam Speaker. It is not changing everything else about the importance of connection to their whakapapa, importance of connection to their family, importance of connection to the iwi, importance of connection to their hapu, importance of strategic partnerships with the Oranga Tamariki. So be honest. Be honest. I would urge them, be honest, and don't strike fear unnecessarily into the communities across New Zealand. Be honest with this country. Be honest about what is happening and what we're doing here. So, Madam Speaker, with that, I would say I recommend this bill with the amendments that we have recommended by government majority, to retain the strategic partnerships as an obligation with iwi. That is, government majority has recommended that, and I would commend this bill on that basis to the House.
Yeah, is he going to be honest about the fact that Christopher Cuxon pretty much threw Māori under the bus to get into power? Is he going to be honest about that? Because that's effectively what they've done.
I think certainly Kilo Papa India Golf is going to be landing at Wellington Airport at about 10:30 tonight at this rate.
Yeah, well, I'm actually at Wellington Airport tonight. I've got to take off the lines on the runway, so if I have anything to do with it, it won't be taking off. But parking that for the moment, I want to take on front on Joseph Mooney's gross hypocrisy, because I do not like hypocrisy. And he's talking about what is the opposition doing, giving this false news, false information. What are they telling people? Well, Joseph, what they're doing is they're actually talking to Māori, something that you and your government did not do. So if you had have talked to Māori, which you didn't, then I would have the slightest bit of sympathy for you. But I don't. And what's more, for you to say, oh, and we've given you this tidbit and this tidbit and this tidbit, and you should be grateful for it. How much white privilege does the National Party exude before the whole house just reeks of their racism?
I ironically was in front of a select committee in front of him on Monday. I don't rate him with the same level of respect I rate James Meagher. And it's interesting because I felt like there was that hypocrisy, even that the bill that I was submitting on was about benefit sanctions and with nothing to do with the removal of Section 7A. But I got that feeling was just like, this guy's not in reality land.
Yeah, well, he's someone that sort of promotes himself as, I've come out of nothing, I came out of a tough life, blah, 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 blah. I got myself through law school. Well, to be honest, mate, you're a bit of a bloody disappointment. Because for you to get into the House and make a speech like that and fail to admit when you actually castigate other people for trying to consult with Māori, when your government refuses to, and then you throw us some scraps, which we should be grateful for, and then you tell us you love us. You remind me of these evangelical Christians that God loves you, but he doesn't like what you're doing, but he really wants your money because he's a bit short at the moment.
You don't give him the money, you go to hell. He loves you, though.
Yeah, exactly. But if you give us the money, you'll go to hell. Oh, sorry, you won't go to hell. And hell's a bad place because it's full of people from Te Pāti Māori.
Yeah, I can picture that actually literally being said.
I thought it was very weird that he said, we love Maori, but they're doing all the other stuff. It was.
Boy, we love Māori.
Yeah.
We love you because you're useful politically. We throw you under the bus and we get into power.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, News Guide, The Order, Paper